Good morning, everyone. Morning, everybody. Another bullish day in the market. Bullish, 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 bullish. Like we talked about yesterday, feels like a black swan scenario. Above 2 sigmas, this is an absolute rarity. As you'll see, never, ever, ever, ever see this. So this is what you call a very, very euphoric market, okay? Hugely euphoric market. We've got buying coming in at all-time highs, all because we have changed president. Nothing from a technical point of view to suggest that this is necessarily long-term sustainable currently, unless we start building out. Some levels that I'm looking at here on the H1, you might not have these, but these are from old contract levels. All right, so the next target really is sort of 250-ish. All right, this is from a September contract. So currently we're trading December, January. This is the old contract. So just for psychological reasons, really. Technically, we're through all-time highs. QQQ and SPY on the cash is through all-time highs, but I've just marked those in just in case it wants to draw up towards them, just from a psychological point of view. All right, as you can see on every single time frame right now, on the hourly, high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, extended on this current hour. Same on the 5-minute. We did have a dip on Asia, cleaning out a small amount of liquidity. I'm very aware of this huge amount of trendline liquidity that we have here, and obviously this from sort of 900 to our open today is another gap. So we've got a gap on top of a gap, but we are in an exuberant market that just wants to trade upside right now. You cannot be picking tops, right? You have to let this market peak out. It will need to do a monster blow off move and then start failing for some interest in reversal trades. I'm not buying the highs right now either, right? When we're this far extended, maybe you could have taken this dip in here. I wanted to see how we'd act into 2050. I was very, very interested, but I was also watching the current divergence on the VIX, right? If we're watching the VIX is trading back upside. It's filled its gap and trading upside while the market's trading up. So that meant I wasn't going to take that long there. That's the only reason. So they're starting to hedge, it feels like, into the VIX in case the market starts to roll. All right, so they've started to buy the VIX this morning off its low in case the market rolls over. So they're covered for some exposure. Morning, Wisdom Lover. Morning, Jeff, Ryan, Marek, Minix, John, and Chris. Good morning, everyone. How many of you are long in this? Did any of you catch the long overnight? Sit in a nice swing trade for the extension? Let's go. Let's go, Glenn. Looking forward to being hustled by you playing pool later. Exister, good morning, buddy. Nice to have you in the Discord. So yeah, really just watching the VIX and ES here. I'm wondering how high we can go. Obviously in blue sky territories, we've just got to keep fibbing out every single move, thinking, can it extend into 161s? Is it going to do measured moves? If and when it's ready, I'll think about the short scenario. Right now, I'm not really interested in the long. I would have rather been swing long the last few days. Morning, Aaron and Taylor. So let's see. Obviously, psychological level on ES will be that 6K mark. Don't expect too much today. Right, as we come closer into FOMC. You've got FOMC this afternoon. You've also got news coming out in just under a minute. It's not red folder, wholesale inventories, but just be aware if they start clearing the book. So far, they haven't cleared the book. Everything's still on the book. But if it gets thin, I will let you know. But nothing cleared so far. So you've got a sell order right up at 150, so 125, 150. And they're just playing psychological levels so far this morning. Just adding to the book, trying to draw it up. Morning, DJ Noah. So here comes the news in 2 seconds. I'm not expecting much because it's not red folder. And everyone stayed on the book. So no liquidity cleared. So they are not bothered about whatever this is printing so far. They do not care. So far you can see every single level, make sure I'm on the right chart, is holding so far. Right, higher highs, higher lows, every little back test is holding. This will change if we start to do something like this. We can think about trading back inside range. Otherwise, really, it's a question of, can you manage your risk on dips for continuation upside? It's very hard to play when it's like this. When I don't mind buying all-time highs, what I don't like doing is when we've done a move of 1,000+ points in 2 or 3 days. I don't want to be buying after we've done something like that. It's but like I said, market very exuberant, holding its gains very, very well, and this will keep going up until they've got enough retail coming in buying the highs, and then they'll start selling into retail. Just like a penny stock, exactly the same thing. They will need to catch buyers at the top so that they've got the volume to sell back into, right? So they're going to need to match that. Either that, or we're going to have a big blow off top kind of run. And it could just be a slow grind up consolidation day until we get into FOMC. Quarter point expected for FOMC, but as we've been talking about, bonds have been breaking out. It might make it hard. So the red herring in the room, let's say, is if he doesn't do a cut because he feels bonds are trading upside too much. If he does that, if he doesn't do a cut, I'd expect we have a fairly decent pullback. Remember, we've got 2 big cash gaps now. 2 big cash gaps. We gapped up yesterday and we gapped up today. So far, just in bullish order flow. Like I said, I've been saying it all week, I'm very risk off this week. I will start trading risk on come Monday. Once we've settled, let the dust settle, got through the election, got through FOMC, had time to digest that on the Friday, let them mess around with their weekly option expiries, and then we'll see what we get Monday. Monday, I feel much more comfortable about trading a bit more size again. All-time highs, yeah. What do you have that at, Matt, on yours, out of interest? And what contract are you looking at? See, I've got on the previous contract 245 it can trade up to. 1105. Well, we've traded through that. 245, yeah, same as me, 245. So remember, we're into a new hourly candle here. We are extended through range. There is some volume overnight sitting around 75. I'd like to see if we can come back down to 21.0. Is it 2150 or 20? Yeah, 21.050. Back down into this kind of level here. I'm interested how we act if we come down here. Do we find a bid? Do we then make a shoulder? Do we start to rotate down, for example? Do we not get down that far? Are we just going to hold this level here and soak off it and continue to grind higher? Right now we are in bullish order flow, so you can't be picking tops in bullish order flow. Yeah, exactly, Matt. That's what I was looking at. But we're very, very extended on the daily. Right, we're super extended. This is not normal. Right, we can go back through all of price action for years and years and years. You will not see this happen very often. It's more like a black swan event. All right, so it's a very exuberant market. So I'm all the way back into 2020, still haven't had a move like this. Probably last time you got it was probably the crash, I would have said, which is probably this here. Nope, that's 19. Yeah, very, very unusual what we're having. But unprecedented events, this is what happens. I wonder if ES can trade all the way up to 6K today, if they're just going to keep bidding it up. So today I would say stick with higher time frames where you can, especially if you're thinking about a short. Just don't look at the 1 minute too much. Watch that 5 and the 15 minute. It will stop you entering, or just tell yourself you're not going to enter until these start to turn. Until then you should be bullish. So sellers trying to drag it up to 150 now. There's two guys sat up there. About 180 contracts set up there around the 150 mark. So just whole numbers now really. ES, I'm going to trade through 90. Once it gets through that, next stop will be up towards 6K. Yeah, exactly. It was another hard to be bullish, but you've got to. It's okay if you tell yourself you're not going to buy. You just can't be selling. You can't be selling till it's ready. It might just be one of those days where you don't touch it. You wait for some form of consolidation to give you a level to play off, either bullish or bearish. Especially into FOMC, I'd say into Friday we get some interesting moves tomorrow. Not every day will be a trade day, you know, especially if you're sticking to your own system. I'd say momentum traders today, those who don't care how high it is and they're just playing momentum, they're having a nice day. Right, as long as you can manage your risk, you can play momentum on these. If you can't manage your risk, you shouldn't be touching it. If you need to trade off higher time frames, you can't be buying this. For me, as you know, I like to trade off higher time frame levels. So for me to be buying this up here kind of goes against my rules. It kind of goes against my rules. So some selling coming in here in ES, coming back to a key level. Same on the Qs. At that key hourly level, all the time it's under just that hourly print. Well, we've already gone straight through it. I'd say 2110 is kind of key. 21,110, that's your hourly open to close level. Above that, you get continuation higher from hourly traders. Below that, you might get them starting to stop out or at least trim positions. That's when I'm looking at that. All I'm looking at, really simple, this hourly bar right here, this open close. I know above that, everyone who bought in the previous hour is very comfortable, so they can keep trading upside. If they got caught here and we start trading through it, we can maybe do a retracement, maybe 50% of the hour, things like that. So I'm watching higher time frame. Yeah, I get it. It was another, yeah. With that, just wait for pullbacks into flow zones. Like I said, I like to see pullbacks into flow zones, and then you can always wait for this little move here. If you don't want to play these, just wait for the push, pull back in, and then you can set your risk here and take profit here and then a runner. Same here. Right, so you set your risk here, you take your first green candle that breaks through it, profit at the high, and then runner for everything above. What's up, DJ? I'm also watching the volume. All right, I want to see if we're struggling to move up, if we start to taper off on that volume and it can't make higher highs, then I know maybe it's going to start running out of fuel. Like we said, we need to trap shorts really to go higher, and we haven't really trapped shorts today. There's been no bear trap put in yet. So it's possible that we get some form of selling coming at some point today if they're not going to do bear traps. Just depends when that is. Maybe they want to hold it up all day into FOMC. Yes, looking to test that 990 level. Crazy talking about these figures when a few days ago we were 1,000 points lower on the Qs and really looking like they might have wanted to trade lower. Crazy, crazy, crazy. How quickly the market can change, how adaptable you have to be. Cannot be set in stone on how you think. So all at Mag 7 green, comfortably green. Bonds are actually down today. So I finally got some selling in those into FOMC. Gold trying to do a bit of recovery. It sold off almost 90 points yesterday, but it's recovering very nicely right now. Bitcoin with that broke out yesterday through 74,000. We were talking about that. If Trump got in, Bitcoin was going to go for that move, and it did it. All right, so up very nicely on Bitcoin. So if it can hold its gains above 74,000 or above that flag on that daily level, it's got a good chance for expansion. So then you want to do a fib on Bitcoin from the high of the flag to the low of the flag. Look at the expansion point. I actually printed that off for a friend of mine yesterday who's been long on it. I will tell you where I'd be looking for. If I haven't deleted it, that is. So 88,965, so basically 89,000 and then 98,234 for a measured move. That's where I'd be targeting if you were swing long in Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly, wisdom lover. Oh, very nice, Matt. Yeah, I was looking at coin as well. So yeah, exactly, wisdom lover. If you're one of those guys who just wants to try and pick tops and you need a method to stop you, all right, that's why I put the flow zones in. All the times these are blue and green, but if not, just move to a 5 minute. 5 minute, 15 minute, very clear, aren't they today? 5 minute straight up. Every pullback holding straight up. Can't be shorting these moves. It's how lots of beginners and even people advanced get absolutely destroyed. You would have seen it on things like Top Step TV over and over again, trying to sell the highs, thinking it's up too high. It probably is up too high, but the market is resilient, all right? It will sell when it's ready to sell, and not until then. Like I said, the market will want to trap retail bulls, okay? If enough retail has come in here and smart money's bought way, way lower, and they trap enough and they can start selling inventory into the retail, then we'll get a sell. Until then, they're going to hold the bid and keep moving it up. Either that or we're going to get a blow off top type move, right? So a huge candle with massive volume that comes straight back down. That's the other option. Another 15 minutes until the initial balance set, 125 point current range. So not a huge range, not expecting a huge range either after a monster 1,000 point move in the last few days. I'm going to sneeze, sorry guys, let me mute this. That would have been really loud, sorry. All right, so 5,990 ES knocking on that door through that. Next stop, 6,000 on the ES. If we start to roll here, it is a big if. If we start to roll here, I'm going to watch this kind of level and I'm going to watch how we act into these. This is obviously a sweep level. If it comes this would be the bear trap, but if it comes further down and starts rejecting, then we can think about that rollover move. That might be more of an FOMC type move, but we will have to see. I'm going to see if the VIX will attempt to break out here on a flag. If it does, then maybe we get displacement down here. Too early to say right now. There is some selling coming in there. Still a seller at 150, but there was some selling on the tape there. He just popped 42 stops there on that move down. I'm going to see how it acts into here. If it rejects 115, anywhere from 1010 to 115, maybe there's a scalp short for an early rotation. It's very early though. Nothing has changed on any other time frame. Like I said, the trap level will be right here into 94. They know that there are stops around there. So that would be the first bear trap. If it swept that, trap shorts in, and then rotated back higher. Didn't even get there yet. Just checking my ninja is matching up with everything. So really it's 91. 91 would be that level, that double bottom, almost triple now. That's where buyers keep stepping in. If it goes beneath that, trades back inside, then it's going to be a bear trap, and they can use their stops to move higher. This is the first real break of trend, but there's not a huge amount of volume in here. But like I said, this is the area that I'd be interested if the sellers come back in towards 15. Otherwise, see if they've trapped enough for a continuation. Maybe they're just going to build out a range for a little bit. Base at the highs, who knows? Still have that seller at 150, he's still on the book, 95 contracts up there trying to draw it higher. All right, so the reaction here now is going to be key. If they just trade straight back through this, we're going to trade through the highs back to the upside. If sellers come back in here, we either build out that range, go and search for new liquidity lower, yes, with a big soak there. So far rejecting, looking good if it will wash. Unwilling to wash so far. Right, unwilling to wash. No lower high created. Sorry, no lower low created. Lower high is in here on a lower time frame. If we get a lower low there, that's going to be the question of, is it a trap? Or do we get the continuation? So just waiting here patiently. What's up, Tyson? What's up, Foster Scott? Hope everyone's good. Again, bullish momentum on the day. I'm just looking to see if this is an early signal or a trap play. We did sweep this internal liquidity here, which is good, but we've left an imbalance here. So I want to see, do they create a flag here for our first move down, and then I can think about a continuation for a deeper move? Or was this sweep enough and we're just going to trade straight back upside, which is what the momentum is? Morning, Mindful Matters. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all good. Maybe we get this bear flag. Who knows? Wow, that's nuts, Aaron. Where are you for that? to have 7 inches of snow. That's quite a decent amount overnight. Got to be careful here. If this is trapped and it's built out a new bull flag for extension, it's going to run. Definite battle here. Okay, so maybe a bear flag here. It's getting very, very tight in here, isn't it? Yeah, still holding up very well, soaking off those lows. Nothing fully aligned yet. It's just getting very, very tight. Maybe we're going to build out that range that we talked about. ES soaked very, very well there again for the last 5 minutes. NQ looks like it wants to do a dive lower. The question is that dive lower just going to be a trap to search for the liquidity? We are bullish in momentum. We are just forming a sideways move here, but we have moved below this 1 minute pivot. All right, so technically this was the range. All the time we're rejecting this. There's potential for lower prices, but we have to be careful of that trap, because the trap is how we will move higher if it and when it's going to do it. Obviously, momentum on every other time frame currently is bullish. ES at its higher day, looking to break out here, looking to go and break through 90s. So a slight divergence here on the markets. Here's the push on ES. So tapping new all-time highs here on ES. Trading at 89.25. Obviously 90 is the psychological level. Through that you would be targeting 6,000 if it gets going. NQ having a bit of trouble here. Definite battle between lower time frame traders, maybe trying to get that early short we were talking about. New 5 minute bar here on ES, maybe going to extend through. There you go. There's the extension now. So 89.50s, 89.75s, can it get through 90? I wonder if there's an option wall there. That seller on NQ is still there at 150. All right, he's still there at 150 if it can join the party. But you have divergence here. ES creating new all-time highs, NQ not taking out high of day. There's 90s. So can ES squeeze here? I'd imagine there's quite a few stops there. Fair amount of selling being exchanged here, I would imagine. cannot get through 90. It's tapped it a few times, like literally on the dot to the tick. And again, maybe it needs ES to help it. There it goes, pop through, 2 ticks through it. See if they can sustain this bid or not. Bit of selling here, maybe now. Do they need to trap again? Watching to see if we get this bear flag now that ES has broken through and pulling back inside. We are still very early on this play. I'm going to make that clear, and it can trap. So if you're going to take this, just be very, very aware. Buyers have been resilient here over and over again this morning. Can't even take out this shelf here, still hasn't taken it out. So buyers are still there on the tape. Very tight. So either a bigger bull flag trapping, like we talked about, or this gets a rotation lower. This is why it's tight here, because this is where the stops are, right? So buyers keep soaking. If they need to trap shorts, they're going to do this move. If they've had enough, then we're going to rotate lower. A lot of this is hinging on the ES and VIX. ES now trading back upside again. Like I said, this is going to be battleground here. Effectively, you can just think of it as like a horizontal chart here. So in here might be a spring move. In here might be a spring move. Right, we're trading in range. We've been in this range now for 30 minutes. And this range is pretty tight, really, with the edges of it pretty much 100 up to 25. So kind of a 25-point range, which on NQ is very tight. Yeah, that's the right thing to do, Ryan. Just wait. We don't, like I said, it's early. If you're taking the short here, it is early, but some people like these shorts here. The easier move would be if it does this, right? Once we get change of character, break of structure in here, that's confirmation. We can start trading downside with more confidence that at least we'll get one leg out of it. Trying to clean up my charts here. But yeah, on a 5-minute, 15-minute, we're still very bullish. Morning 60 hour. So initial balance now set. Okay, so IB rules now apply. 125-point initial balance. ES trading right at its IB high. So now we've got to think about auctions and failed auctions. Trend days and failure to trend and rotation. That's what we need to think about. Very much like yesterday. Yesterday, we ducked into the initial balance. Once we trapped inside the initial balance, got back outside of it, we went into a trend day for the remainder of the day and just traded upside. We've had continuation of that overnight. So this all started with Asia, not last night, the night before, and really we've been in one giant trend to the upside since. You might need a catalyst for them to need to sell if they're not going to take profits, right? That could be FOMC later, potentially. Could also be that we just chop sideways now until we get to FOMC. If they're going to just wait for a catalyst, that's also potential. New highs on ES, 91s now. So 10 points away from that 6K mark we were talking about. Matt, I tried a couple earlier today. I'm basically break even on the day. This is not perfect for how I like to trade. I would like to trade pullbacks into, like we always talk about, pullbacks into higher time frame levels and then get a bullish structure. That's what I'd like. And I'm definitely not going to get that. We are so far away from any higher time frame structure. So mentally, I'm thinking maybe I get a scalp short rotation at some point. So failure to break out of the IB high there for ES so far. Still got another 2.5 minutes on this M5 candle. Yeah, Matt, what I'd really like is if we're looking at this on a higher time frame, look at these hourly charts where all the volume is based. Some move back into here, and then I want to see how we react there. So I'm more bullish. Right, I'm bearish back down to here. I'm bullish if we can put a W in here. I'm bearish if we break below and fail here for a rotation back down into there. That's kind of what I'm thinking higher time frame, but it's going to take a few days to play out, I think. So today might end up being a no trade day, I don't know. Again, testing the lower end of this range for a potential bear flag snap here. Very, very tricky. Again, you're early here. Nothing confirmed yet. Would be nice if they start to sell it, because then we get something to play off here. I'm going to try a small short here, small size. Stop straight in the money straight away. I'm going to be aggressive with it in case it's just that trap. There we go. I'm being very careful now in case this traps underneath these lows. And taking partials. Lovely, beautiful, there we go. So starting to play it now. Just be careful now as we come underneath this swing low. There we go, lovely move. So I need to see it stay heavy here on a rejection. Any retrace up needs to stay heavy. Otherwise, it's going to be that bear trap. Remember, the bear trap was underneath this level of liquidity right here. If they trade back inside and start to grind this up, then they're going to use this level to trade upside. Otherwise, we're going to hope for continuation lower. So at least got a little bit of that. Waiting to see now, just waiting to see. When I'm counter trend, same as last week when we were counter trend long, when I'm counter trend short, I'm much lighter on size and much more aggressive with my profit taking. So new 5-minute bar coming. We built up a lot of volume up here. So point of control has now flipped up here. On the H1, flipped right up here. Can we get a breakdown here? So far, soaking on that stop level. Needs to reject into these momos, basically into the 100 psychological. If it, like I said, if it reprices, this is the stop run to go higher. I'm out of that now, completely out. Now I'm just going to watch ES here. If ES is going to have to go through that IB high, maybe they've trapped enough for that move. All right, so here they go. Exactly what we just talked about. So this is the stop run. So we trapped bears under here. They're now going to attack these, which their stops are, to come and take it to IB high. All right, so just a classic bear trap. We said earlier in the session there hasn't been one bear trap yet in the day. That's your first one. All right, sweep of liquidity, turn, send it, left all their stops here at 17 for them to now hunt. Now it might have the fuel to go much, much higher. And look at the size of this candle now that it's trapped. Hopefully that's a good lesson for everybody. Why, if you take the counter trend trade, you have to be very aggressive and understand the trap levels. Thanks, boys. Yeah, thank you, team. Ladies and gents, thanks, James. Very nice, kind of you. You'll start seeing it. The more you turn up here every day, you'll start seeing it. Once you understand, I always talk about it, treat this as a game. It's just a game, right? And once you understand how they're playing the game, how they need to trap to do the next thing, the market only moves on liquidity. That's a really important thing. A market only moves on liquidity, so it needs to manufacture. I always talk about it like, we've probably got time here to just quickly show you. If we're trading at all-time highs, right, we're trading up here. We know that we don't really want to buy up here, right? We don't want to buy up here. It's not a good level to buy out, right? We want to buy off support, ideally. But if the market's not willing to go down there, how are we going to make the market go higher? We're going to have to create liquidity like this, convince bears to come in. Oh, their bears come in. They're breakout bears normally. They're normally late. And then once you turn inside, their stops are here, and then we use them, and now we can go higher. That's literally how the market works on every single time frame. It's fractal. Every single time frame works exactly like that, like I just showed you. Yeah, so that's why when you're looking at, it's the same thing when we're looking at sweeps of liquidity on the higher time frame. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. It's just too many years sat in front of this screen. That's what it is, James. Way too many years sat in front of this screen. And I think maybe penny stocks as well, you know. Penny stocks probably very similar. They have to manufacture liquidity all the time in penny stocks. I was normally, that was earlier in my career, I was normally the wrong side of those moves. ES still cannot get a close over its IB high. All right, new candle coming, new 5-minute candle in 1 minute. So maybe they've trapped liquidity both sides here now. I'm completely hands off. I'm going to let this shake out. I want to see this 5-minute bar close. Another 30 seconds or so for this 5-minute bar. ES really battling at that IB high. It cannot get a close over. The last 15 minutes it's whipped to it, cannot get a close over. Yeah, Foster Scott, I know that's your favorite play, isn't it? You love those failure patterns. New 5-minute bar here, right at that IB high on the ES. So sweat one side, sweat the other side. This is telling me right now it needs to build up more liquidity. It's getting tired, all right? So it's building out liquidity. So we might just go into a range for a bit on trap and trap and trap and trap and trap, unless someone gets stuck and decides to mark it out or mark it in with some notable size. That 150 level, that seller is still on the book. He's been there for the last hour or so. Yeah, Greg, totally. Look for something after FOMC. You can totally do that. I am not going to do that. I'll tell you why. My stats trading FOMC are horrendous. They are horrendous. So nowadays I just stay out of it. The only time I do it is if, I'm going to send it on an eval. So I just have to be honest with myself. It moves so quick, it searches so many levels of liquidity, or it has the past few years. I think FOMC will start calming down a bit now, if I'm honest. Now we're going to go into rate cuts and the economies should be coming into a bit more sensible range. We never used to care about FOMC. We never used to be looking at quarter base or just staying flat. This has all happened post-COVID since the inflation run. FOMC has become key. I think we will go into a market the next few years where we care less and less and less about it. You'll be happy to know, guys, I'm up enough to buy myself a coffee, and that's about it. But like I said, I always said this week I didn't think I'd make any money really, and I had a really good week. Today, not so much. Today's just over flat. And I need to buy myself a coffee because my wife came in and she said, we're out of coffee, so you've got British tea, which in America, it's not great. The tea here is not great. This is Trader Joe's tea. It literally tastes like nothing. So any of you Brits will know, I don't know what you drink, Tetley's or PG Tips. The Irish tea is the best tea, I always think, but yeah. Yorkshire tea or nothing, exactly, James, exactly. I do like an Irish tea though, but yeah, tea in America is not normal. First time I went to someone's house, they asked me if they could make me a drink. I asked for a cup of tea. They put the mug with water in the microwave to boil it, which I thought was insane. I've never seen that before. And then they put the tea bag in it. Glenn knows, Irish tea is the one. He would be biased though, given that he's from Dublin. Sacrilege, yeah, it's sacrilege. Heating water up in a microwave. Not many people have kettles here. That's another weird thing. Okay, we're just building out this range here. We're basically boxed in, trapping liquidity. This is effectively the range right here. All right, and they're just going to build out this range. ES is trying to get over that IB high, but the look on the ES on the 5 minute is actually pretty ugly. All right, it's in like quite a steep move to the upside, and it can't extend through it. So if you look at ES on a 5 minute, it looks very different to how the NQ looks on a 5 minute. 5 minute on the NQ looks like it's trying to build a flag for a move up. 5 minute on the ES does not. It just looks like an uptrend with a lot of wicks on top, which are about to get run, I think. Snooker Pro, welcome back. Good to have you in stream. So here's the extension, new high of day on ES now. So now to 92. So that was probably a good dip to buy in hindsight, wasn't it? Hindsight capital. That was probably a good dip to buy because we knew that's where everyone got trapped. We knew the trap was under here. So there's the push, the retest. That was probably a decent buy there for the move back up. But I'm going to stay out of this range for a bit. Everyone knows I like trending markets off higher time frames. So trying to just stick to how I like to trade at the moment. That doesn't mean you have to do the same. If you're a breakout buyer and you want to take this IB high, by all means, trade the way you like to trade it. Oh, the IB high, yeah. It got messed up when they changed the clocks. I thought you would have seen that. Sorry, Foster Scott. I posted it in chat yesterday or the day before. Ryan asked for it. So here's the extension, retesting IB high, ES above the IB high. So we probably could have been up almost 30 points on this if we'd taken it. Maybe a bit of a miss on my part. So extension through now. We'll need to base above here for confirmation of trend day. Off topic, is ES, do I think DJ30 is dropping? I haven't looked at it, mate. I never look at the CFDs. Let me have a look. Oh, it's a big extension, isn't it? Have a look at the weekly. I don't know where you were in from, James, for DJ30. It's pretty close to that 44,000, but a nice breakout in the weekly. 43,843, 43. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad sell. Will you swing on it, or was that just today? We're very extended across the markets here. It doesn't mean it can't go higher. Like I always say, like, you don't want to be picking tops, but yeah, that's it's not dissimilar to everything else. It's very extended, but it has got that draw for the psychological level, I'd say. Okay, ES coming back towards that 6,000. Oh, you're in its swing. Keys in a fruit bowl. 6,000 mark on the ES. We talked about it in Discord at the beginning of the day. I think I talked about it at the beginning of the day on stream here. 6,000 seems like the level that it might want to run to for the ES. Just that psychological level. I haven't checked SPX and things like that, but I'm sure there'll be an option wall there or thereabouts. Probably with expiries going tomorrow. So either now we go into auction or failed auction. Remember, auction theory or failed auction theory above this high. Right, so you're either buying this for a bullish pattern for a move back up, and if you're really going to hold it, this is where you're looking for all-time highs. Otherwise, failed auction is going to be effectively like a Wyckoff, right? This would be a spring trade inside, and you'd be hunting these lows to start with, and then if it starts to break down under here, right, then you've got sufficient liquidity for a move lower. But so far we are in multi-time frame bullish structure. Weekly's bullish, daily's bullish, H4 bullish, H1 bullish, M15 bullish, M5 bullish, M1 bullish. Do we short that? We do not. We do not short that. We tried a short here, and I kept saying it's very early. If you're going to take it, you've got to be aggressive. The trap got set, like we said, and now it's trading back upside. Right, the best trades, I always talk about, the best trades will come when alignment is the same. So we will need an H1 and a daily to do this, and then we'll be looking for a move in here, and a move in here, and a move in here for bearish moves, and the opposite for bullish moves. But we are in that move currently bullish, but we are way extended, way extended. All right, the start of this move happened on Tuesday morning at 20,000. We're now trading at 21,150. So swing longs are absolutely loving this right now. Yeah, exactly, Scott. Big round number, 6,000 on ES. Just going to check SPX really quickly. SPX got a while to go to get to it. So SPX trading at 967. So there's probably 967, 970 is probably an option wall. I haven't looked, but I would guess 970, 975. Okay, watching the volume here to see if we get a blow off type move as well, just in case they just send it straight through and then dunk it down. Why is 250 a significant target, Ryan? It's an old all-time high. So you won't see it on the current contract. I posted it in the room earlier. So if we go here to the hourly, all right, and I look at unadjusted with the old contracts, all right, remember we change contracts every quarter. It's an old high up here. All right, so it's an old high. Unadjusted. Technically, we're basically trading at all-time highs, but this will be a draw based on the old contract. Just psychological, really, more than anything. If you look at the daily, obviously on the daily chart, we are trading in blue sky territory. Jesus, I went far back. Let's just do this, shall we? All right. But on the old contract, we've got a high up here, basically, because the contracts adjust. This is where we should short Wisdom Lover. Yeah, should we go full send short? I'd love to, but no. Back in my old days, probably would have. It's up too high type mentality. And then I learned that used to get me in a lot of trouble. All right, so lots of volume being exchanged up here now. Took out that 150. Let's just see if and how we react. Remember, we are still bullish. There's nothing here bearish. There is an imbalance here on that sweep. If we close beneath this, then it might give us an early clue. But so far, not doing it. That doesn't mean it's a short if it's an early clue. Just saying that that might be enough if long's chased up here, all right? Because this is the imbalance right here. So if we close underneath this, maybe we trade back to IB, then we have to see what happens at IB. Remember, anything you take short today, if you're convinced you're going to take a short, anything you take short is a scalpable trade only. You're going against the higher time frame trend. Pull back here, tapering off. If we see volume come in here, they're going to go and create a new high now. This is classic bull flag, tapering off. Didn't even get down to the IB high to retest it. Didn't even do a two leg. It's just pump, pump, pump so far today. Exuberant market. It is not being very efficient, this market, I will say. It is leaving gap after gap after gap after gap. So that is a really obvious sign of a very, very exuberant market, right? People just chasing. If you think about the bell curve, if anyone's ever looked at those markets where it says like the psychology of it, of like fear, and then smart money, and then like reaccumulation, and then the drive up, and then you get, I don't know what they call it in those patterns, but basically retail joining at the highs. That's feels like what this market's doing right now for me with that extended. So they two leg here down to the IB and catch it. ES coming back down, didn't take out 6K, not at its IB high yet. 4.5 minutes left on a 5-minute candle, so I'm just trying to give it a chance to shake out. Being very, very patient today. New sellers on the book, 175 and 200 now. Not huge size, but they just came on since that last move, 350. Nice, Ryan. Just hold that runner. Move your stop up. I'm not sure where you got in, whether you took the IB high breakout maybe. Make sure you're paying yourself a little bit. Yeah, crypto, very, very bullish. Trading up towards 76,000 now in Bitcoin. We said that would happen as soon as Trump came in. It was going to go bonkers because he's very, very pro the crypto market. And we'd consolidated in crypto on a daily flag for as long as I can think. Lovely, Ryan. That's a really nice play. Really nice play. So still building a new flag out here, potentially for a new squeeze up. Needs to get some volume going for them to run these stops here. I don't know how many you've got on, Ryan, but on the next big push up, just take a little piece off when it goes through the high. If it goes through that high, I'd be watching for a volume to come in through 58, maybe to send it straight up towards 65, 70, and I'd be trimming it a little bit more there if you have more than one on. Yeah, the bull flag on Bitcoin's mad, isn't it? Huge, huge, huge. There you go. There's the move, Ryan. All right, just trim it a little piece there and hold your last one. Only have one left. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Just move your stop up with it now then. Move your stop up with it. I'd move your stop up to around 57, because if it gets really extended, it can come back down just as quick. So just keep moving your stop up with them, because you're up nicely now. You're up. You took 30s, so you're up 30 points even with this stop up to here. I'm watching ES into 6,000. That's why. That's if and where the NQ might slow down. Could be there. If not, all-time highs. But lovely trade, Ryan. There you go, flush back down, there you go. Squeeze up and then move straight back down. The only thing with what you're talking about, traditionally I would do that. It's just that when we're so high, you'd be upset if you moved it. I don't know if you were going to move it here or here. Like from here, you've traded another 20, 30 points high. If they decide to sell the all-time highs, they can do that so quickly. So I'm always a little bit careful when we're trading this high. That's the only reason. You don't want to give back too much. And you can always get back in. But this move here was very squeezy. This candle right here. So ES having another go here. It needs to break 96. There you go. Gone through it. 96.75 now. It wants to trade up to 6K. So what the ES wants to do. VIX has a pivot down at 517 that I've got marked in. I'm just going to double check that because that's going to be very old. Oh, wrong chart. VIX can come lower. VIX can come sub 15 if it really wants. So new hourly bar here. Just be aware of that, new hourly bar. Funny how Meta just wouldn't move yesterday, and today is absolutely flying. So all the volume right now is really at where the last hour open and closed previously, 109. We're pretty thin in this move up here, so 22 to 109 basically, point of control if it's going to actually come back. Which is not very far away. Potential selling starting to come in. I'm going to see if I can just join a little bit of this, if it will pull back upside for me. Straight up, straight down, like we talked about. And when we talked about this, felt very, very squeezy on the way up, so it would give it back just just as easily. That's why I was saying be careful with your stop, Ryan, be aggressive with it. It just feels like this can give back very, very quick. We've been in a big old squeeze up today. And like we said, when it catches enough retail at the highs, buying at the highs, that's when they'll turn it. So here's the recheck on the initial balance of the ES. The ES has done that recheck on the IB. So just want to see how it reacts here. Again, this can be your trap low. It will need to reprice into here, reject. If we get that, what will we get? Head and shoulders. Break of this then, back into IB. Then what can we think about? This liquidity, view up. If. It's a big if, okay? Your counter trend, it's a big if. It's not done anything to suggest it's going to do that quite yet. But we can have a reprice on this H1 back to 125 to 100 flat. Yes, holding its IB high for now. I just have to see if it wants to auction above this or not. Really, not that far away from all-time highs, are we? Not that far at all. Yes, under its IBH now. Now the sell potentially starting. No. Need to see more volume come in here. Need to see NQ trade underneath its IBL. IBH, sorry. Can't get my words out. So the question is all this trap buyers now? Didn't quite make the IB high here, but we are checking an old M15 wick into that 30 level. Like I said, around this level down to 100 flat is where point of control is. It's where we based out in here for a long time. Oh, sorry about that. Remember, all the volume is in here. Right, we can see it on the high time frame. All the volume is in here from this level here, 23 down to sort of 100 flat. I want to see if we trade down to that and what happens when we get there. Do buyers show up, or did those buyers all just sell when retail got trapped at the highs? Five and 15 minutes still very, very bullish. Flow zone still bullish for now. We are still above the initial balance high for now. VIX still dumping here. ES back through its IBH. So either quasi here, or this is the same thing as we did earlier. All right, if we're going to do the same pattern, it's going to be a sweep of this, trade inside, flip this, new all-time highs. If this is going to be a quasi, it's going to be this, and we need to see this kind of level here stay heavy. What's my opinion on longing to the previous high? I don't love longs in this market when we're up this high, Ryan. Very hard to justify for me taking longs up this high in a market to the previous all-time high. It's quite possible it does it, but like if you zoom out on an hourly chart, you are bidding very, very high to try and get a little bit higher rather than bidding off a support structure low to try and take that whole move. The longs on Tuesday, Wednesday were good. The longs today, for me, not quite as good. Just in terms of momentum's good. Remember, we always talk about what's the momentum on the day. Momentum's very, very good. But is it a good area to trade in? Location for me for a long is not really very good. So back beneath the IB high here for ES now. NQ coming right into it, just missed it so far. Remember we said hourly pullback can come into 120 to 100 flat. Here we go, starting to sell a little bit. IB high test, so this will be battlegrounds here. If they start to sell this like this, beautiful. Maybe we can get a bit more of a continuation lower into the hourly level. Remember what the hourly level we said? We just kept talking about it. Into this level here. This is the exchange level. This is where volume is being built up. So for me right now, I'd say buyers, retail buyers got trapped up here. Now we're starting to get that quasi type look. If we're going to trade inside here and fail into this range, if, and it is a big if, we get under point of control, we can come back down towards view up and IB low. But we have to respect where volume is traded, where structure is. Extended hours, Tyson, but I mark out my gaps on regular trading hours, but extended hours for data. The way I always think of it, Ryan, right? If we look at this, where's good locations to buy from? Remember, this is only the last few days. That's a nice buy location. This is a good buy location. Maybe this is a good buy location. This is not really a very good buy location, is it? There's no structure here. We want to be buying down here, really. Ideally, if we're going to get a multi-time frame long, right, one of these levels. So this is where it gets tricky. This is where the temptation is to be like, I know it's going higher, so I want to long it. But what if you long it and you're picking the top and it's going to do 2, 3, 4, 500 point drop back down to test an area of structure, and then the long's there, right? Doesn't mean it doesn't go higher. This is what I'm always saying. This is the difference between understanding what the chart might want to do and understanding your strategy, right? Yes, you can take this IB potentially here. Some people would have taken this retest of an IB, but for me now, we're starting to look a little bit weaker. This here, think about a pattern. This here becomes a problem now. I know buyers are trapped up here now. So if I'm longing this, all I can really do is sell into this and then hope it goes higher. But really, this is starting to feel like they might have caught enough. Like I said, they will sell when they trap enough retail. It feels to me like they might have trapped enough retail up there, which is why I was telling you, move your stop up. This squeeze here with this volume, and look at this sell candle here. Look at the volume on this. That's arguably the highest of the day when we sold down. Right, this candle right here, 111.03. If they reclaim that candle's volume, maybe we go higher for sure. But in general, I want to buy off H1 levels of demand. That's where I like buying off. For me personally. But you will all find your own strategies. Even those doing the course like I'm doing it, you'll find your own strategies that work for you. But for me, I like lower time frame bullish patterns in H1 levels that I'm interested in. Or lower time frame bearish patterns in H1 levels that I'm interested in. That is basically the principle of how I like to trade. ES struggling to get back through its IBH hit. So if this ES 5-minute candle, is that my 5 on a 10? Just double check that on 10. Yeah, if these 5 and 10-minute candles are just repricing to go lower, you're going to have volume trapped at high of day with potential rotations. Exactly, Scott, exactly. They had two odd hours, 2 and a bit hours to bid it up all day. But we'll see. It might want to come and sweep these stops. Like I said, how it acts in here, for me, is significant. Funny that, isn't it? The imbalance is the golden zone. Who'd have guessed that? Right, so how it acts in here. If it sweeps this and turns straight away, that for me is telling me it's building bearish structure. If it gets in here and starts to base above, there's no way I'm shorting that. So far, the 15 minutes and the 5 minutes are still holding up. Like this 15-minute chart, we just repriced, held. It's the only thing that gets really tricky with these, because I don't want to pick tops, but I am not seeing anything. Even a 5-minute, what have we done? All we've done is reprice. Are you going to let me show the team or what? All we've done is reprice this structure here. So it gets really tricky. I start looking at this and I'm like, it might not be ready yet. It might not be ready yet. Yeah, it's looking pretty good though. What I'm going to be cautious in here is if it's on a micro level done this. So again, I'm waiting to see how it reacts up there. Not just taking the short in there, I want to see how it reacts. Oh, there we go. Also remembering that hourly traded down towards 20s, which is what we're saying, the volume's at from 20 to 100 evens. Really like to see it push up first and sweep that liquidity before I consider everything. I don't actually want this to just break down. It's built a lot of short stops up there, so I kind of want them to get popped and then see how we act. A bit like a bull trap, really, I guess. I want to see how we act in here, and if we then get heavy, then I'm going to know bulls are trapped up there again, because they're going to probably buy this breakout here, and shorts are going to get stopped out. And if we don't have the momentum to reprice to high of day, then they're going to get stuck. If we're going to flip this and get through it and like this, then we're just going to keep going higher. And I'm not going to join that. That's all right. I'm okay with it doing that and knowing it can do that without playing it. I'm also, like I keep saying, I'm not expecting a lot today just based on FOMC later. We might just keep repricing, ranging until the Fed come out with a decision. I think what Powell says is probably more important than the decision today. He is going to have to talk about the bonds. I'm sure he's going to have to talk about Trump, whether he wants to or not. I'm sure he's going to be questioned on it because they don't have the best relationship. Yes, back above its IBH, new 5-minute bar here. Does it hold this or does it flag and break down on the ES? Like I said, we've built a lot of stops here. I want to see these get run. I'm really not interested in entering before those get run. Hopefully it doesn't force me in without taking them. Very close to taking the stops, building more and more liquidity up there. Please don't just die. Don't do that. No, it's got to get through 53. New lower day on the VIX. Yes, not at higher day though. Slight divergence there. Oh, come on, market. Don't do it. Don't do it. You got to go upside first. Oh, come on, market. I'm telling myself I'm not taking this unless you take those stops out first and then show me a pattern. I'm not going to do it. Go, 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 go. There you go. Upside, upside. Take them out and then show me what you want to do. It is soaking here a lot. Possible, some of you would call this like a BPR down here, lower time frame. It is soaking off it. I'm just interested how it acts here, basically. It's a nice move from the ES here. Still got 6,000 sitting there, got to remember that. Still has a target to aim for on the ES. Right, there goes the stops. So how are you going to act? New 5-minute bar coming in 1 minute, just under a minute. Okay, that's definitely a sweep now. That's a clean push through. So can it base here and squeeze up and reprice, or is that the end of it? Or are they just looking to take those guys back out? It's a battle. Remember M5, M15, everything above that still bullish. Still not in this, just waiting, but it's done the first move I wanted to see if we're going to go lower. It's taking the liquidity of what it manufactured in right here. So if it's going to go lower, it's got to show me a reason to go lower now. But it's sweeping these, repriced this imbalance into this 61 fib. It's done everything I want to see on a lower time frame. It would now need to trade back down with conviction. Watching ES to see what it's going to do as well. Not convinced of anything here right now. Really not convinced of anything. Can see a flush and I can see a giant squeeze coming both sides, and not really sure right now. It's not showing its hand. Yeah, good wisdom. There you go. No tilt's got to be good. Can we get a breakdown? I need to see a big giant sell candle basically. And we are above the IBH on both, and I have to remember that. I'm trying to respect so many things at once here. That's why it's a battle here. We're above IBH, which means we're in trend day. Multi-time frame is up. but there is a possible trap hit for a big wash down into the new hour, into lunch, but we have repriced into 20. So there's like all these things going on in my head at once. But we are holding flow zones. We can potentially move higher all the time we're doing that, of course. They look a little bit different here. Yes, we'd need to do a, I'm watching the 5 minute, would need to do a lower low, and it hasn't done it. It's reclaiming nicely. It's also possible they just pin it in a range. Yes, back to IBH again. Proper battle. M15 looking very bull flaggy here as well. Got to be very, very careful. So I said I'm going to wait. It's got to show me a signal, not just chop around. Yeah, that's it, Exister. It's just trapping. It needs to trap liquidity. No matter what it's going to do, as we know, it needs to trap liquidity. It is looking flaggy here on the M15 and on the M5. It's starting to look like it could potentially break out. So if it reprices this imbalance, like I said, the reaction here being key, right? The reaction here is key. If we just keep holding, we just keep going higher. Remember, higher time frame says we go higher. Until they've finished with the higher time frame, it can keep going higher. Sentiment is very, very bullish. Maybe they just want that 6,000 on ES, you know. Couldn't close above that imbalance in that golden pocket, not yet anyway. I really need better cable management under my desk. So it looks like it's going to break here. The flag starting to play out on ES, potentially on an M5. Same potentially on the NQ, which would give a new high of day if we do it on the NQ. So again, no reaction there. We were talking about we need to see a reaction there. Didn't see it. So it did the same move as earlier. Swept the liquidity, turned back inside, ran these stops, but this time holding it and going to try and grind back out now. obviously lots of stops at that higher day. Can use those for the next squeeze up. Same thing over and over again. Flow zones remain bullish. Everything remains bullish for now. And with that said, I'm just going to grab some food. I'm starving. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I haven't had breakfast yet. It's still only 8:30 a.m. here for me. Market just building liquidity to move higher and higher and higher. Pretty boring day, as expected before FOMC. Calm before the storm. I'm just about ready to call it here, guys. So if you've got any questions, please ask them, because I'm probably not going to take a trade the rest of the day. Had to be patient today. Didn't get what I wanted, and that's all right. Yeah, it's looking pretty strong here. Market's so bullish. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I wonder if they dump it on FOMC. Or are there loads of shorts in this market? Do they just want to completely wipe out one side? I have no idea, it's why I'm not going to play it. Especially with the range. Imagine FOMC dumps like 800 points. Could easily do it to fill both gaps. Imagine it did that in like 2 minutes. Not interested. No interest. But yeah, flow zone system is paying today. I was probably maybe a bit too biased, hoping we'd see a deeper pullback for me to get involved in. But we made some money, so who cares? New 5-minute buy here, 20 minutes until lunch. $6,000 on deck for ES, only 5 points away. It can go and do that. It has got enough juice to do that. Wow. So fast track rug pulled everyone today. This is why I stopped work with them a month and a bit ago. Nasty, nasty bastard, that Scott guy, man. Gloated about buying his new Ferraris yesterday. Didn't pay traders. And then firms disappeared now. Crazy. Look at that. Gone. I hope they send him to jail if he's done that. Apparently, that's what I just read, Exister. That's why I stopped recommending them quite a long time ago and moved over to TRADEIFY. If you want to go straight to funding, go to TRADEIFY, the link above you. That link right above your comment. They're paying out, they're consistent, very good rules, not growing too fast. Complete scumbag, man. What a scumbag doing that to people. Yeah, code FCT should get you 40% off right now, I think, direct funding. VIX starting to turn upside here, very interestingly. Can't imagine how those people are feeling who are owed, 20, 30, 40 grand right now, maybe more. Terrible. I've had it myself, not with them. I've had it when I've not been paid out 30 grand. It's not a nice feeling. So here you go. VIX is trying to curl and go. It's retesting a key level right now. So if it gets through this, it trades up to that 843. If it gets through that, it's going to trade up to hunt the stops at 15. So 843. What am I talking about? Through this to 1543. Through that, trades to sort of 1560. But again, very similar to earlier, just building a range here. Oh, very much like we did earlier, right? A range breakout, range breakout. That's all the market's doing today, building liquidity and moving on up. No notable pullbacks, nothing on a 5 or a 15-minute notable, definitely no pullback on the hourly. Every single candle for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours has closed high. So I think I'm going to call it there, team. Basically, no money on a day. A couple of tiny scalps, and that is it. And that's going to have to do for me today, and that's absolutely fine. If I wasn't streaming today, I probably wouldn't have even traded, if I'm honest. FOMC day, like I say, I like to leave it alone. My results on FOMC day are very low. I normally shoot about 74% win rate, and on FOMC day I probably shoot about 30. So there you go. That's why I like to avoid it. So here we go. We just talked about it. That VIX is turning upside. So that's what's bringing a little bit of pressure on the market here. Nothing too big yet. Right? We're only down 10 points off that high, but just worth paying attention to if they start to hedge into that VIX, okay? Because we have been in a squeeze trend up for a long time. When I say a long time, I'm talking about 2 days. If they want to rug pull this in FOMC or tomorrow or next week, whenever they're going to do it, they will do it at some point. You don't want to be the wrong side of it. I'll be back tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Please trade safe if you're trading FOMC. Remember, the market can skip on you during FOMC. If it gets really thin, it will skip on you. And we are up, I'm going to keep reminding you, we're up now 1,200 points on the week with a double gap up. If it trades into that gap, it's going to be so thin. All right, no market orders during FOMC. Please don't market in and out. You will get absolutely slapped. Just be really, really careful. All right, big love, team. Thank you for showing up. Use hard stops. I'll be back same time tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Don't forget, if you're interested, my course is on sale right now. I'm going to end that sale. It was going to end earlier, but I know a few of you are still looking for it. So probably another week, and then I'm going to end the sale on the course. So $399 with code YouTube, flowzonetrader.com. Peace out. I'll see you real soon.